one day or even today, somebody can sit down and listen to most, if not all, the albums, starting with yours truly, and really be able to see a human being progress and grow and evolve.
Sure. Yes.
It feels like one.
Side to side was very meaningful.
Bicycle. That you can coin. I don't think anybody else used
that. Dan, I think, is the one where it's the most personal. You know, you asked me before, is off the table the most personal record I've ever written. I think it's side to side.
I can see that.
It's really tough. They're neck and neck, but also shout out to everyone that still is surprised when I'm sexual. It's so funny and it makes me really happy.
We talk about, well, there's a few here. I really want to talk about Just Like Magic because you bring up manifestation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in that?
Yeah, I think that's super real. I think that what you put out and what you focus your attention on is what expands, for sure.
Do you think manifestation played any role in your journey now, or to get you?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think that there is a certain way to look at things, and when, you know, bad things happen or when things get really tricky, it's hard to still look at them that way, and you still kind of have to try your very best to and learn about restriction and learn about channeling the right mindset and really try. And it's hard as and it's like so complicated and hard, but everything you do, I think, kind of contributes to the life that you create yourself.
Oh yeah.
Like every thought that you have. And it's hard because, again, it's like we live in a world where we're taught to hate ourselves constantly. So it's like, it's really hard, but it's like every single thing I think that you think about yourself and others and how you react to things, what you choose to think about, what you spend time talking about. It's like, I think it all plays a part somehow. I don't know. I just, back to more manifestation, like if we're going really there, because I kind of went off the rails a little bit. But my mom always taught me that if I want something, it can happen. Like it's absolutely possible, and to never act like it's not. And I think in a way that's kind of manifestation. It's like you think about it like it's already there, and it is. But I was taught that since I'm 4 years old. I was 4 years old and they called 411 to ask the lady who worked at the front desk at Universal, probably the theme park, probably not even the studio, if I could audition for all that, you know? And then I was on Nickelodeon. That was like my first, you know.
Yes, it is true.
I do think it's real, because I think that that's how I'm here at all. I think my mom taught me that.
I totally agree with you.
What a great thing to tell your 4-year-old is like, you can do anything you want, you know?
And by the way, that hit me in my life at the age of 10, and it impacted my path even from that age.
You were the youngest rock star, radio host, entrepreneur how old were we when we started doing this together? You were what, 15?
Yeah, we had
your own radio show on 1 million stations when you were 2 months out of the womb.
A fetus.
Right off the press, couldn't even speak. You're like, I'm Zach saying on the radio.
Say it's, well, you want to go? I was going to quote from the song, one of my favorite lines. One of my favorite passages from
you go first.
the album. Say it's tricky at the top. Got to keep it slim ego for a thick wallet.
Oh, bad.
Losing friends left and right, but I just send them love and light. It is a realization that you need to be a kind person to achieve something.
100%. The minute you start being a tool, that plug is being pulled.
Mm-hmm. Kindness.
It might take a while, but you're pulling the plug on yourself. The minute you start treating people weird, the I don't know, the runners and the first ADs and the yelling at people, the minute your plug is getting loose and you're, you know, like pulling, it's not, you gotta be nice to people. You gotta be grateful. You can't see one achievement as a indication of anything. Like you can't accomplish anything and see that as like, I'm different and I can act different and I don't have to work as hard now. And no. It's a complete opposite.
By the way, like that's a really valuable lesson that you don't actually learn until you're maybe put in a position. like to have a great success, you know? Like you don't.
You know when you have songs and then you can't hear certain words anymore?
Yes.
They're like, I have a problem. And I'm like, I hear the intro start and that I should be in my place ready to go like this. Like I have like trauma for all these songs.
The Ty Dolla $ign collaboration is phenomenal.
Mhm.
And by the way, it was the only song on the album that took.
I was clearing my throat, not saying, yeah, it is. So thank you. I was clearing my throat, but it sounded like I was like, yes, it is.
How does this collaboration with Ty Dolla $ign actually come to be?
He walked in, but he just walked in and loved what he was hearing. And I was like, well, this is a perfect time and place for us to do something together. And I've always wanted to. I'm a big fan, and he's a great guy, and I've always wanted to. And so it just happened to work out. I think he just kind of sat down and loved what he was hearing and was like, let's do this together. And I was like, yeah, that's great.
Well, the record is, I mean, the entire album is very much present, but it gives me a timeless feel. Safety Net, it's like feels very old school R&B, but in the best possible ways.
Thank you. That's my wet dream.
Tripping, falling with no safety net, all over the sky. You're questioning if this love is real. At this point in life, do you even know? Like, do you have a test? Do you have a gauge?
How do you know? Well, you don't, but you do. You know, your heart, your gut, your friends and family, you know. I trust the people around me a lot. They've always, in the past, when I've been in something where it's not gone the way everyone has wanted it to go for me, they've always been like, hi. Yeah, you know that. You've been one of the people. So it's like, yeah.
Your gut. You learn to trust your gut over time. Yes?
Oh, or yes, but also like you can't, when you're a person with anxiety and depression, there's this like weird thing. There are times when you can't differentiate between your gut and your trauma and your fear and your anxiety and your PTSD. And you're like, who's lying? Which one? You know?
Yeah.
So it's a tricky thing, trusting people and whatever and blah, blah, blah. But there's a time when you do feel safe and it clicks and you're like, you know, and, you know, trust is a big thing. And I think that song kind of is a very accurate depiction of what that fearful stage of falling in love feels like.
From that into My Hair, I'm obsessed with this record for so many reasons, because vocally, it's unlike anything I've ever heard from you. You go the deepest vocally that you've ever gone. Like, it is so good.
Oh, thank you, Fredo. Fredo goes, from in the corner. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, at this point, I've done a lot of shit. I want to keep it fresh and exciting. I want to use all the parts of my voice I can. I want to have fun and just make records that I feel like I haven't made before. And yeah.
Your hair is so, I don't understand why it's attracted so much fascination throughout the years.
It sure has.
It's unlike, I mean, it's so wild to me. From the red velvet red to the ponytails, you have somewhat publicly been defined by your hair, but also in life, hair is intimate. Hair is personal.
Yes. No, it definitely is, especially when your hair kind of is something that you use to differentiate. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the red was Cat, and that was very much a character, and that was very much a portion of my life that I love and I am so grateful for, and I look at it and I love it, and I see red and I'm like, red hair, and I'm like, oh my God. And I think fondly of that, but it again is not me. And then I see like the journey that it's been to, you know, I did put Your Hearts Up with red hair, and that felt weird. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like I felt like it was keeping me in everyone thinks I hate that record. I do not, but I do consider it a transitional part of my life. That's why I never made to an album or anything, because it's like I didn't feel like that was an accurate reflection of who I was as an artist or a person.
And
I was like, okay,
to that, by the way.
Yeah, I was like, this is a confusing time. This also was a song written during a writing camp when I was writing songs for Victorious, and it's heavy and it kind of ties me to that. So then what do you do when you're an actress on a television show who's trying to also pursue a music career simultaneously because you're insane and can't wait? You dye your hair back and forth every weekend. So there was the dyeing my hair brown on the weekends, and Brian and Scott would come and hang out with me while I got my hair dyed, and then we would shoot a music video on an off day, and then I would dye it back and be up all night bleaching my hair to go back to work on Monday. And then by the time we did Sam and Cat, we had wigs and it was easier, but then the ponytail, and then, you know, it's all been kind of like associated with different chapters of my life. And my real hair, which is the humongous curly poof, is kind of, I don't know, so few people get to see it, and it's cute, and it reminds me of me as a kid, and it reminds me of, you know, it's who I am privately. And but so is this. I wear my ponytail all the time too, but the curls are definitely something that I don't bring around much. But I think that's kind of what I envisioned that song being about, is because it's like such an intimate thing, is to be just like curly shower head. And yeah, and my boyfriend loves it, and he's like, girlies, yay. So it's like a very intimate thing, and I think that's kind of what that is about in a way, because like you said, the hair for me is such a guard character facade type thing, and it's had its own evolution, but it has always been like this kind of like costume piece.